All right, guys, welcome back to the exciting conclusion to the battle of black and blue. We are here. I got Ben Wyckoff with me on the microphone once again. And yeah, we're just trying to finish up a really tough round here.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me back. This is the final stretch of this tournament, and it is really hard still. Yeah, especially we'll see the gauntlet of 11, 12, 13, 14 that punishes even the top professionals that play this course. And we'll have to see how our AMs handle that.
Absolutely. And getting us started off here is also not a super easy hole, but not one that adds a whole lot of strokes to players. We got hole 10.
Yeah, 400 feet, par 3. The main obstacle here is a very tight gap with a low ceiling out of your hand. So you can kind of play either a forehand or a backhand. Roller plays as well, but anything you can get through the gap, nice and low. And ideally, if you can get enough power on it to get to the green, you can have a birdie putt.
Certainly. And yeah, this is, I don't know, not necessarily unconventional, but it's definitely one that players try to use a super flippy driver to the left side, which is the largest gap of all to hit. But really having confidence in your roller disc to kind of curl up before the basket is really the play. And
yeah, hard on that left side, hard to keep a roller to push straight enough and finish not curling all the way over. This is the more typical roller play that you'll see up the middle, and this is the one that will potentially get you closer to the basket. Mm-hmm. But so far, everyone's doing job number one, which is get through the gap nice and clean.
Actually, I think we'll have rollers on the left gap, the center gap, and the right gap.
Right gap is also a play that I've seen, definitely for more of the cut roller variety. But that's well executed by Gavin.
Kind of looks like if Gavin and Carson flip-flopped their gaps, I think they'd have both really good results. Carson being really far left, and Gavin being really far right. They could
maybe
swap those lines, but yeah, they'll just have some pitch ups. You want to be careful not to push over this rock wall. The green does get skippy and fast. So
definitely, really nice, just clean backhand throw from Josiah there.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that in my own personal game.
The backhand is so tough, especially through just the dead center gap, because that very first tree on the left literally is the number one obstacle for the backhand, because you're always convincing yourself you're going to hit it. And I always hit it myself. So
no. Yeah. Not next time. Next time you go out there,
next time I'm not.
I believe in you.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I need that.
Gavin with a C2 look. Gives it a good bid, but that's where you're talking about the kind of slope behind and a little bit of skippy green. He's going to have a tough putt from back there.
You really need to kind of parachute it to the basket if you want to have a good, safe comebacker.
Yep.
So it's essentially planning for the miss, but a lot of times you end up increasing your chances of missing if you do that. So
yeah,
Gavin just trying to play his percentages and make a good, solid run. Let's see what Steven can do.
Yeah, he's got a birdie look. Oh, wow. What a putt from Steven from
corner pocket.
Edge of circle 2, it looks like. This is a long putt.
This is one,
nice
he hangs on his
floaty.
Yeah.
Hyzers it in there. Man, right into the... Oh, that's great to see. Great putt, Steven. Wow. What a thing of beauty right there. Yeah.
For sure. Yes.
And, man, having a lot of confidence going into this next stretch of holes is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Gavin, maybe not quite as much confidence building on that putt, sneaking in there, but in the basket is in the basket, so we'll take it.
Yeah, and that kind of highlights, these players are now mentally shifting into survival mode, right? So they've taken...
If they're not, they should be.
Right, they've got all the strokes that they can, at least for the course up to this point. They just need to not bleed out on the next 4 holes.
Definitely.
All right, Power Grip, a super awesome sponsor. And more than that, an awesome shop, awesome online retailer too. Power Grip has done amazing stuff for Bloomington and for Peoria, so go check them out in person in Bloomington if you're in their neck of the woods.
Definitely.
But in this neck of the woods is hole 11, a tough 380-footer.
Yeah. Just a really tight gap off the tee. It's asking for a forehand hyzer flip to straight to finish, or a really tight flipping backhand hyzer. I would expect most of these players to throw forehand if they have that play, but just making it through the first gap and staying clean is key.
Absolutely. And we saw Steven threw that tee shot off of hole 3. That's kind of what you're looking for. You needed a little bit more stand-up, though. Just barely fighting on Anheuser.
Man,
almost
that's
like that.
Yeah, another 2 feet to the left, and that is money for Josiah.
Oh.
I'm surprised to see Carson going with the backhand here. I know he likes his forehands as well. Yeah, catches the tree right behind the short pad, so he and Steven are going to have a similar look.
It's so hard to execute. And you could go either way with it. I think Gavin just likes to try to rely on the understable plastic, so I can understand the backhand too. And distance being another major hurdle here.
Sure.
But if you actually play for the ground play, like you actually throw something low and committed, a driver perhaps with the backhand, you can probably get some Annie skips off of the short pad or like just next to it.
Yeah, so
it's not
don't
like
necessarily disagree. There's a lot of roots and whatnot in the fairway as well that can be a little bit tricky at times.
Right.
So I don't know that I would take that play as the most reliable one. But
no, I'm not going to say professionals like Paul's not going to come back here and he's going to be planning the ground Annie skip, right? It's some tough chipping in there and a pitch out.
I mean that he'll have a shot from there, but not what he's looking for. He wants to be leaving that a little bit shorter to make this shot easier. Let's see. Going with the nice patent pending. It's
good.
Solid
Escape
swing. Leaves it a little bit short, but that'll be right around circle's edge, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, going with the interesting kneeling forehand, but yeah, okay. This makes a little more sense. Then you don't often see the kneeling forehand kind of facing towards the
backwards.
Yeah. This is
one. I think while we were looking at it too, I think it's this one mature tree that he's trying to actually go inside of.
Yeah.
I think that trying to do like a patent pending backhand that swings out and around maybe is a little too wide. I think given his proficiency, that's what he should go with.
Usually recommend probably from this spot.
We'll see how he executes what his gut tells him.
I like the shape of this shot a little better. I know, cuts out a little early for him, but he'll be able to get up and down from there, most likely. That inside-out forehand is just such a weird shot, not something you ever really practice, and I'm glad he didn't try to do that. That's even something you could maybe like tweak something in your back or something. To do.
Yeah, injury. You always want to do something safe. You're not pushing your body to the physical limits.
Yep, good effort from Carson, leaving it a little bit short, but a solid run. Let's see, this is Steven for his par, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Man, almost trying to make back-to-back long C2 putts.
Swinging it in the back pocket, too. Yeah.
Can't quite connect on that one, but a good solid bid. And looks like he's not going to be losing any strokes to anyone on the card here.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. The slow roll is brutal here. Let's see. Oh, man, he's kind of stuck back in jail.
He's behind the little hackberry and in front of it at the same time. Yeah,
He's got an interesting putt where he brings it down instead of kind of to his back hip or center of mass, he brings it to his front hip. Yeah. So I think that's kind of bringing it out on hyzer or leading to the putt being a little bit early.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly how I would teach putting necessarily, but whatever works for him, obviously.
If you go back to that, you'll see that his footing and how he had to line it up definitely attributed to that too.
That was more as a general note, not necessarily on his straddle putt there.
Well, and actually, I've seen people have a lot of confidence. Great putt there, closing out a bogey, keeping the strokes at a minimum. It aligns with the sport of cornhole. There are a lot of people that lead to either their leading knee or their leading hip for that. So, like we've seen, the MPO player who Hebenheimer did the to the right side of the body. But there are a lot of players too that will line themselves up with their leading foot and then putt off of their knee or their hip. So
interesting.
It does usually result in a hyzer, but a lot of times it's very consistent because you keep your arm in a straight line on that too. So. All right, this is the scary one. Everyone's shaking in their boots when they come to this.
Yeah. Hole 12, 1,050 feet, par 5. Ideally, a shot will make it through the gap, turning to the right on the drive. You want to be trying to get over the creek on your second shot in an ideal world. Right. Get up to the top of the hill on your third shot. get up to the basket on
Yeah,
your fourth.
so you
and,
saw-
and get a par. That's kind of best case scenario for all of us playing it.
So you saw the short layout. Honestly, it's a 400-foot shot to get just in front of the short pad, which very few MPO players actually achieve themselves. So, trying to commit to this and then you hit early like that, that's immediately
That's
a
bogey
6
at
absolute
best, probably double at best.
Yeah.
This is a really good shot from Josiah. Fading
Very
out a
good.
little bit. If he can get over the creek from there, which he should be able to.
He saw the T sign right there, so
he's in play for a par with best play on the rest of the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Carter leaving it early again, like you said, 6 at best.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute best case.
Yeah, you gotta land at minimum 350 in the middle of this fairway for you to have the shot at par.
Yeah.
Just such a challenging shot. So
that is a great shot from Gavin. He might be like right next to the short pad
he
there.
is. Yeah.
So he'll have a look at 5, or a chance to look at 5 at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this is playing as our hardest hole on the day. Average of 2.85 strokes over par. That's total of 7.85 strokes on average per player. So it's playing a little hard.
I think the last time I played a sanctioned event here at Long's, I've taken a 10 on this hole. So,
I've definitely taken my share of 10s.
I'm the one increasing the par.
That is a really well executed shot from Carson there.
Very nice.
He can definitely get over from there. Maybe even have a look at trying to get to the top of the hill. It would take a lot of power. Good shot from Steven as well, but leaks it a little bit early, so he'll have a tricky shot.
Yeah.
Gavin trying to flex the forehand.
He finds his way
over
through.
the creek. Yeah, does that sneak through past the trees? Okay.
Yes, it did, but he's going to have those branches will create a low ceiling for him, so he's not going to really be able to push above the hill, but he might be able to at least get to it so where he can look down the neck of the final bit of the fairway. So
gotcha.
Yeah, a little on the inside here. Steven, see what he can do here. He's just throwing
Yeah, that's the smart play, just keeping it in the middle. He'll have another either chip forehand or backhand turnover from there. Oh, man, I thought Carson stayed up top. Looks like he took a roll or a kick or something down to the creek bed here. And this is where the hole can start getting tricky, at least at the beginning. We have our other tricky shots coming up later. But, man, this is a tough spot for Carson. Going with the forehand hyzer. That's a good shot out to the middle, or at least a little off to the left side. He'll have a shot there. Josiah, wow. That is a great shot from Zaya, going mid-range or putter. Just playing it smart, up, keeping it in the middle. He'll have a look at par, I believe, trying to get up and down for par. Very well executed. Let's see. Carson looking at either pitching the forehand up, maybe a forehand roller look. No, just going with the forehand. Not a bad shot from Carson there. A little bit off to the left-hand side, but he'll have a shot trying to get down the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Gavin on the left side. Yeah, it's...
Oh, man, that's a really tough lie. Right on the... I don't know how he gets a swing out here without smacking his hand.
He committed to it, and it pushed to the right side. So once again, it's the going back and forth across the fairways that it's very prone to happen. Once you've started off on one side, you just find yourself on the other side.
The Army golf.
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
forward progress, as you pointed out, but it really
doesn't
wears
always
you
feel
down.
good. Yeah. Oh man, Steven. Oh wow. Okay. Takes one good kick and then one bad kick. Probably that's a little more aggressive than I'd like to see. Probably if I'm his caddy.
Sure.
You got to tell him, just pitch up to the top of the hill.
Take it down.
You got to lead by a couple strokes here. Don't need to throw anything away.
That's true, and that's going to be the main thing here is just keeping your eye on the scorecard here. So counting up,
especially
exactly
with
how many
Josiah
strokes.
having a look at potentially a par from playing this hole very well so far. So we'll have to see what it looks like at the end of this hole. But strokes are flying.
Yeah, and that was good commitment there.
Yeah, good shot from Gavin.
I just barely caught this, but yeah, Josiah caught me off guard with a nice forehand there. Good. Just straight up the gap. He's going to have a circle 2 look.
There you go. Hey, any look for par on this hole is great. Like we said, taking 2.5 strokes on 2.8 strokes on the field. So
it's 3 strokes, man.
Yeah.
Call what it is, man. It's 3 strokes.
3 strokes.
The question is how many strokes does he take on Steven at this point?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's the smart play from Steven, just pitching up. So trying to get up and down from there for 8, I believe. I could be wrong on that count.
Man, another one where Gavin's got to do a pen pending. It's running the risk of hitting your hand. And there were too many shots on this hole alone, the whole course, uncountable, but where you got to swing and you're risking hitting your hand on something, man.
Yeah.
I always flub these shots. I can never do them, but he seems to...
Yeah, I mean, he kind of did a little bit. Doesn't quite get the commitment. I mean, obviously, you can't hit your hand or else... Yeah.
Or you can't
It'll hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So, kind of good in the circumstances, but not quite as much push as he would have wanted, I'm sure.
Okay.
Steven doesn't like his shot. It looked pretty good to me. Maybe pushed a little bit deep.
A little bit.
But he'll have a putt coming back for his whatever he's taking on this hole. It's hard to count. It's hard to count when you're playing the hole. It's really hard to count when you're watching 4 different people play the hole.
We usually spend 2 minutes sitting up here by the basket, mentally, poking at or pointing out, okay, that was that shot. So,
oh man, Gavin can't quite get around the tree on his putt there. Let's see if Steven can connect on his putt here.
You got this, man. Yeah, this is where there's open fields on the properties next to the pins here, and so the wind does pick up and can sometimes impact the putt. So yes, that was
a really solid
8.
putt. Takes his 8, but 8s happen.
That's par.
It's the hardest
for the
hole
day,
in disc golf. Yeah, exactly. So a good putt to not make it any worse than it had to be. But and now Josiah's got a putt for par to take the lead going into hole 13.
Mm-hmm. And he does it.
Nails it. There you go. Wow. So lead change. Great par for Josiah. Tough hole for Steven. And we got a battle here.
We do. And that's going to be the main thing here is 2 more holes to survive.
Yep.
And then
try to get a couple birdies or at least pars to finish the round.
100%. Yep. So, yeah, we'll get there when we get there, but I can see they got to try to score on the 16 and 17, but then fight everywhere else. So,
yep.
Huge shout out to OTB, one of the best online retailers in the business. Just picked up some sweet plastic from them. I am far from disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
About as far from disappointed as I can be. So go check them out. And with that, we'll go to hole 13.
Hole 13. We've got 653 feet. It's a par 4. Very demanding tee shot. You've got a tight gap, and the righty's pushing a big hyzer, usually with a distance driver, wanting to land right here where the drone's flying, and then pushing your second shot over this OB pond to a sloped green. The real hard part here is getting the drive to a good spot if you're ever going to have a birdie chance, because it is a tight gap and you need a lot of power and a really committed shot to get anywhere near there to get a look.
Yeah, so we added 180 feet to the tee shot.
And made the gap tighter.
And made the gap tighter, so you've turned the tee shot into a mandatory 400-foot
minimum hyzer.
Yeah, straight hyzer.
Carson threw a great shot there. No chance at birdie, unless you do something stupid and go over the top, and then you take a 8. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, this is another one where I don't ever see anybody play it this way, but a lot of people just trying to bite off as much distance as they can off the tee.
That's a really good shot for Gavin.
Gavin. Yeah, just play it like Gavin, where you throw something controllable, you'll be in the fairway, chip around the corner, chip across the pond, and just play it that way.
Well, I think he's trying to get a birdie with that play, because he's got some sneaky power, it looks like. I think that's going to be in a really good spot.
There is the way over the top shot. If you're early enough and you have access to that airspace, some people do attempt it, but
it's not recommended.
The reward is not worth the risk in my book, but this won't be the last time. If we do end up seeing it today, this won't be the last time we'll see it, because it's very common.
Yeah, Steven, this looks like a nice shot after a errant drive. Just pushes a little bit too far straight. But forward progress, he can pitch up from there, and get his bogey.
Good execution there from Josiah.
Yeah.
That early left as well can really add it up too. But just taking his medicine
Yep.
and going for the bogey.
Yeah, no, that's a very smart play.
And executing two really great shots back to back. So well done.
Totally agree. Carson with a really good drive, but still not quite far enough. Nothing he can really do except for pitch up from there.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven looking to pitch up as well. Leaves that a little bit short of the gap that you're looking for. Should still be an executable shot, but
the distance to pin, is not a whole lot. So you have your choice, backhand or forehand. Probably some sort of forehand from what I've seen. He's got some confidence there, but
yeah.
hooks
Okay,
on the
Gavin.
finger.
Yeah, I think he's still okay. It looks like he pushed it a little farther left than he wanted to. That's a really big drive. If he can get another 25 feet on that, he can have a look at birdie.
Mm-hmm.
But that just goes to show that's a really, really tough drive. And wow, is that Josiah gets the stick, or is that Steven getting the stick?
That was Steven getting the stick there. So he's going to be pretty solid with a putt there. Oh, and Carson does a cross.
Yeah, we saw a similar shot from Carter in our first round coverage. Hit the tree and roll back into the pond. So fortunate to see Steven get a nice sit inbounds up on the other side there.
Yeah, it's
Josiah
going to
with
be
a very nice approach as well.
these little add-up things that can lead to swayed strokes one way or the other for our leaders. So it's just going to be match play from this point in time between Josiah and Steven.
100%. Nice shot from Gavin as well.
Yeah. Once again, another tree kind of in his swing.
Yeah. Seriously, he keeps
maybe
finding
get some
him.
practice. I should probably get to the field to practice that. Stand right next to the football goals. Ooh!
Nah, that's no fun.
I know it's not
I just
fun.
want to throw far.
Just go rip. Yeah. It's like when you go to the driving range for ball golf. You go out there with your driver. You don't ever hit your irons. Just increase your club speed.
Yep. Important putt here for Steven to not lose any to Josiah on this hole. And that's well executed.
Good bogey.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
good bogey.
And likewise, Josiah has a tough putt here. Or not tough putt, but an important putt.
Mm-hmm.
Gets it to stick.
All right. Evens between the two of them.
Yep, like you said, match play. Carson's not out of it, but he would need a big mistake.
A big blow
from one
up
of them
on the
to,
other side.
Yeah. Although I forgot he did go beyond this hole, so moving farther back as opposed to closer.
It's true. We do have some people on the chase card crawling up the scoreboard as well. I think
Carson's making a little move.
Yep, Carson Fowler making a comeback as well. So all these players are keeping a good eye on the scorecards as they go through. So
Definitely.
Huge shout out to Underdog Sports. Go check them out in store in Peoria and in Springfield, but not to overshadow what's another incredibly tough hole. Hole 14, we are playing from the longs. It requires essentially, once again, like another 400-foot shot.
Laser beam.
Laser, exactly, into what's now a headwind coming off the cornfield. And then just cut up the last 500 feet down the tight fairway, however you see fit. So this is a great shot, but that tree continues to be the main obstacle for those right-handed backhand shots.
Gavin's got a lot of power. Because that, I mean, it looks like he's barely throwing it, and that thing was getting to the corner, I'm pretty sure, if he misses that tree. That's
Gavin's
crazy.
technique is really, really good. And I'm excited to hopefully see him again in the future, because he's got a lot of game. And I think today just things weren't quite clicking, but I know that he has great potential.
Yeah, great shot from Carson as well here. Going to be a little bit short of the corner, I believe, but well executed, straight shot. Should be able to pitch around and then make something happen.
Yeah. So
Steven
early
looks
left.
Like I mean, my money would be just pitch up to the corner and work from there. It looks like he may be trying to get a little more aggressive than that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. This seems to be forehand roller.
Honestly, given it may be tough to attack from here, it would be okay. This is a pretty big landing zone. To do a forehand chip out and like have it fade away from where the intended
as
direction
long as
is
you
going.
can get in line with the fairway.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I totally agree with that.
So anyway, we'll see how he carves this up. it's really hard to challenge a player's game who plays better than you. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, and that's a very well executed forehand roller.
So we
middle of the fairway.
We stand corrected.
I'm gonna stick with my guns. I still think my idea was right, but very well executed shot from Steven. So hard to argue with that.
A little
Gavin,
straight here.
Yeah, pushing a little bit straight. He's gonna have another tree in his swing. Oh my goodness. This is a really nice drive from Josiah, able to push around the corner a little bit on his second shot. So that'll shorten his the next 3 shots he needs to throw at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the main thing in my mind is as soon as you have eyes on the basket, you think of how you just cut it up into 2 shots.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people try to get aggressive and get as much distance as they can off this. It looks like
sit.
a forehand roller there from Gavin was trying to achieve that.
I'm not sure if he was. I think he might have just been going for the forehand flex shot there, but either way,
possibly
tricky shot in either case. He had a tight gap he had to hit out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Carson's also going for this forehand flex, I believe.
Yeah, which this is tough because it's a straight right to left crosswind.
Yeah.
So it's controlling, not letting the disc get too out of control, moving left with the flight plate exposed. But yeah, that.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I think you might be right about the crosswind, kind of taking a hold of that and bringing it down to the ground, not letting it fight out. Steven trying to pipe this gap with a fairway driver, it looks like. Needs it to sit.
Yeah.
Looks like it landed soft enough that, he'll have a forehand pitch out from there most likely. But not a bad spot over there.
I've always been impressed with the fairways out here. We've managed to cultivate a fairway where, you're not...
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's
that's
really,
great.
really good shot from Josiah. Oh, my goodness. He's going to be, 60 feet or so for birdie?
Yeah.
That's, wow.
But this course, the trees off the fairway, it's created a jail cell.
Yeah.
If you are over 3 feet off of the actual clear path that is the fairway, you are effectively resorting to either a 200-foot chip shot or just a straight sideways pitch out. And this is what happens when you try to be aggressive from the rough, is that you army golf back and forth.
Well, it really shows kind of the risk reward. Is that Carson's saying goodbye to his disc in case it doesn't come back in bounds? Is that what that?
Yeah, he had a heart for the viewership, so he's throwing this over the top shot for you guys. Even though I can't really get it on camera, I'll get as much of it as I can, but I'll pan over here to the basket for you and see if I can catch it. It gets on the left-hand side.
It comes down to the left side.
So yeah,
that was for your entertainment, folks. Thank you, Carson, for the thinking of the audience.
What I really want to do, I think we could definitely get to this. I want to have the drone coverage. I want to have the drone sitting over top the lead card, watching some of these over-the-top shots where we may miss it out with both the player and the catch cam.
Yeah, we gotta get catch cam first. That's job number 1.
Yeah, and we have provisions to get there. So
there you go.
Yep. Oh, good commitment there from Gavin. Nice shot.
Yeah, nice little turnover.
Celebrate the good shots, even if they are little ones.
Oh yeah, big time. And hey, they all count the same.
Yeah. Steven wanting to stay toe-to-toe with Josiah really has to make sure these stay close.
Yeah.
Got a little away from him, but...
He's been putting well today, though, so I'm not too worried about that. Josiah just with the layup. Probably smart. I'm kind of surprised to not see him run it. Just, like you said, they're playing match play, I guess, so he knows he has a stroke. He knows he's getting one here.
Yep.
So, makes sense. But still kind of surprised to see that play. Good putt from Gavin. And let's see, we got Carson close. Oh man, that's
uncharacteristic.
That's tough. Yeah, you don't really see Carson miss those too often. It looks like maybe just almost a lapse of focus for a moment there. Just kind of not focusing on keeping it straight into the pole.
Mm-hmm. And 2 pars there?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Wow. Yeah.
On a hole, once again, playing 2 strokes over?
This hole was playing at 1.67 over par. So
I am genuinely surprised that 12
that's a little
is playing
lower.
Nearly 3, and this is playing... it's half as hard.
1 2/3. Yeah. hey, they're still both really hard.
Yeah, no,
But I am
wholeheartedly
surprised
agree.
that this played, not quite a little harder.
All right, one of the most picturesque holes. This is my favorite hole on the entire course. But once again, that's just an opinion. But yeah, it's just one of the most beautiful fairways. At 650 feet, a par 4, this is one of the original gold holes that has amazed lots of people. It's challenging, but at the same time, it's also definitely scoreable for sure. So
OB lining the left side. An errant driver, bad kick can take you there.
Yep.
Also nasty on the right. So got to keep your drive in the middle.
And cut it in half is really the main thing. That's all you're looking for. And I think Josiah's done nearly that. A little right, but
he's far enough up there that it's a very good shot. Steven trying to attack this with a backhand. This is where I get a little scared because this shot is really, really hard to not have it fade OB or cut roll OB.
Yeah, exactly. It's both of those. The miss is so particular. And
it's a really good shot on any other hole anywhere else, but I think it's probably going to be OB. It might be in.
We were uncertain, obviously, on the tee, so we had to wait till we got down there, and I
keep me in suspense too.
Yeah,
all right, well, we'll have to see. That's a good shot from Gavin. You can see it trying to cut
just
roll,
got to that cut roll angle. That's sad.
Man, it is such a scary shot. Carson, that's kind of a typical miss you see, just kind of floating it a little bit, staying away from the OB, but it's going to be a tough spot over there.
Yeah. Oh, good
Gavin
forehand flex. There
forehand.
It is.
Oh, man, just catches the last tree he had to miss. It was going to be up there for a putt if he misses that tree. But still a good shot. He'll have a chance at getting up and down for par. See Carson going for more of the forehand hyzer from where his drive landed. That's a good shot. Probably about 60 feet from there.
Yeah, where everywhere else on this course we've had a lot of, hard packed dirt. You get some ground play, and that one was just crazy. That Annie counter skip. But I mean, this is one where you're forced into a lot of low ceilings for your second shot for some reason, just based on the hole design, and you're not able to get any ground play. Yeah. So it's really protected itself from, just hitting the hillside and skipping up. You have to air it.
Yeah.
You have to air it to the basket.
Looks like Steven was probably OB. I saw his mini down there.
Sadly,
way up the fairway, so he'll have he has a look at getting his par still. Mm-hmm. But unfortunate break there.
Ooh, that's really high.
Yeah. You can, every once in a while, you see a roll towards the OB on those long putts here. Thankfully, didn't get one on that shot or this one from Carson. And this is Josiah's look for birdie to take another stroke on Steven.
Yeah, this would mean some pretty good confidence going into 2 scoreable holes, too, where you could create a little bit more separation as well.
Wow,
and
great
he does
putt
it.
from Josiah.
Yes.
That's big time right there.
Yep,
and now putting even more pressure on Steven here. Got to make this putt to only lose 1 on the hole. Not a long one, but yeah, good putt. I was going to say not a long one, but definitely we've all missed putts shorter than that.
Yeah, they both played the hole, not identically, but they played it for the same amount of throws, but just that one OB stroke. Yeah.
Good cleanups from Carson and Gavin as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thanks to Great Lakes Disc. They're a great group of guys up in Michigan area, so Discraft country. They got anything that you could ever ask for up there, so be sure to stop by when you're up there in the area. And with that, we go to picturesque hole 16.
Yep, playing downhill 330 feet over a creek with a couple bridges. Got the nice telephone pole logs blocking the green if you come in a little bit low. Just looking to play a mid-range putter, maybe fairway, depending on how much power you've got, what you're comfortable with. Keep something low and straight and get to the green.
And this is a common result for the righty
fades out a
backhand.
little early, so that'll be kind of challenging the creek down there. Plays as casual, but he'll have a tricky spot from there, I think, depending on how far up he pushed. Steven, that looks well driven, but man, just a little bit too stable, so he'll be joining Josiah kind of in the creek area.
Yeah.
I think this is just a putter from Gavin, but just out early from his hand.
And that is always a tough spot. There's a smaller, it's all part of one creek, but it kind of collects into more of a pool. And so once you're back there, like, it is a mess.
Yeah.
Absolute mess. And I think, not to overshadow Carson's okay shot, he's going to be in a position where he can pitch up, but it took us almost the full 3-minute timer to find this one.
Yeah, good pitch out, honestly, because
4
is kind of, unless you make a long putt like that, 4 is kind of your best case scenario back there.
Yep.
I don't ask me how I know that, but I can say from personal experience that I've taken my fair share of 5s from that same spot.
Yep. And yeah, this is super common.
Oh, wow. Steven trying to give it a little bid from down there. It's a good shot, and it looks like Josiah actually stays up high.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll have a putt for birdie from... This is a really tough angle, but a putt's a putt.
It certainly is. Yep. And this one, the challenge is always getting the disc chain high.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's that it's a low ceiling from that. All the gaps are low to the ground, so it's hard to really get the footwork.
And it's also really hard to get your feet underneath you. That hill is very steep and usually pretty muddy, so just even getting your footing to the point where you're not slipping down as you're throwing is tough.
Yeah, a bogey and a couple and pars for the rest. So
yeah, not a bad hole overall. You'd like to see a birdie probably.
Yeah,
but it happens.
NADGT, thank you for your support of the Greater Peoria Tour, and thank you for everything that you do for the sport. Go check them out and find a NADGT event next to you. All right, and this is hole 17.
Hole 17, 320 feet. We've got 2 options off the tee. You've got a righty flex backhand, righty flex forehand. Either way, kind of trying to push that flex straight, avoid the left side, which is all OB, which also curls around back behind the pin. Creek short of the basket, plays as casual, so not great to be in there, but not the end of the world either. Josiah going for the flex forehand on the right side. Doesn't quite flex it enough, but it looks like he pushed far enough that he'll have a pretty easy up and down. Unless he got to the OB deep, which is maybe in play back there.
Definitely in play for sure. Not going to pretend to know his game plan, but I think he's also just trying to play safe.
Oh, man.
And that one hidden tree.
Yeah, that's a great shot for Steven. If it gets off the last tree down there, it was kind of looking like it was going to be well inside C1 there. But unfortunately can't sit, and Carson going for the flex forehand doesn't quite get the commitment on the angle or the line out of his hand and pulls it to the OB.
We've got
someone
reevaluating his decisions.
Yeah.
So it's all good. We've been there, Gavin. But yeah, trying to do the flex forehand, it appears to, or maybe even a flip up forehand.
No,
he's got
the
a flex.
Oh, wow. Gets sneaky on the initial part of the gap, but pushes pretty far forward. I think that's probably going to be kind of under the bridge area towards the creek.
He's on the basket side, but just to the left of the bridge.
Gotcha.
Hammering over on the
Carson,
forehand.
From the OB. That'll be right around circle's edge from there, a little bit uphill. It looks like, I can't tell if Steven's inbounds here or not.
He actually, I think, crawled out of bounds.
Oh, man, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty tough because the OB is more deep towards the basket, but then it kind of shores up and is a lot shorter on this side.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's really not much you have to really choose a completely different disc if you wanted to actually play safe to the short right side. You can't just say, I over-hyzered it and went too far right. You're going OB. So
it looks like Josiah was out of bounds there, but makes his putt for par from his drop. So
yeah,
very nice. And then this will be Steven's putt for bogey.
I believe so.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a tough one. Kind of get a rough break off the drive and then can't get up and down from the from your bid for par.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much kind of established what's going on here for the rest of the event, or at least for the last hole, but Carson trying to just clean it up too.
Yeah.
These guys have had a really long day. Two rounds in one day.
Playing Northwood twice, even if it's shorts the first time, it takes a lot out of you, energy-wise, a lot out of your body. It's just tough, especially on the mental side, too.
Absolutely.
And granted, these guys all played good first rounds. They're on lead card, but up and down the course, everyone's kind of struggling out here at this point.
All right, and like we said, this is stop number 6 of 8 of the Greater Peoria Tour events, which is all headed towards the Greater Peoria Open, which is going to be coming to you guys soon. So stay tuned to the channel for that, and also double check Crew 42 as well. Go over them, check them out. They'll have the MPO coverage for you guys over there. And this is the final hole.
Hole 18, 703 feet, par 4. An ideal drive would land just a little behind where the drone is flying up this hill right now, but it's really, really hard to execute. You want a pushing right-handed hyzer that's not going to fade too hard and probably get a decent skip to the left, and then you've got a really tight tunnel uphill second shot if you want to have a chance at birdie.
Yeah, there's a handful of these tough par 4s that require a 400-foot backhand, or righty backhand, and this is one of those. It's just so tough to execute. That hyzer shot looking just like this.
That
goes
looks great if it gets a big skip to the left. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good shot, and it's all he needs kind of at this point in the round. But if you want to get a birdie on this hole, it needs to be a little higher and pushing farther left.
Yeah, and a last-ditch effort from Steven to try to get aggressive with the forehand. That's got to take like 500 feet of power, because you have to hammer an overstable disc on anhyzer high.
Or you can do the super flip over with something nice and flippy, but it's a tough shot either way.
But I think when you're doing the forehand, you're telling yourself, hey, I want to make it to one of those 2 tiers, right?
Yeah.
So either the tier...
if you're trying to go that far, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because it has to fight out at the very end, which means you have to throw straight to overstable, so it's just insane.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Yeah, tough second shot for Steven as well, kind of pushing over to a little too far to the left side, it looked like. Gavin just pitching out, that's a good shot from him. And then going to try to be making the corner up here and pushing around to the right. Leaves it inside. That's actually a really good kick out to the middle. He'll have a straight look from there.
Yeah. And it's about 300 feet from that position, and it's a tough shot to execute just with the uphill. You're putting things nose up, and I think usually the wind is gently coming off your the shoulder or left shoulder as a headwind too, so it kind of continues to lift things up when you're cresting this final hill here. So yeah, just Steven trying to get something up to the top.
Yeah, it's a good shot from him.
Be it back in play.
And with Steven in trouble, Josiah's pretty much got this wrapped up, assuming he can execute his last couple shots. That's a really good shot.
Second shot.
Yeah, he can pitch up, and still win if he wants to at this point.
Yeah, I think he'll want to close out too for 2 really solid rounds.
Oh yeah,
over 1,000 rated.
Yeah,
very well played.
That's a great shot from Gavin, looking just straight down the gap.
Yeah. And I'll mention once again, I don't think I did, but I think Gavin, Josiah, and Steven are all kind of out-of-towners. I know Steven and Josiah were getting some practice for some tournaments later this year. They want to come out and play, so they've done a really good job for, let's say, not being the most practiced competitors. So
definitely.
For sure, enjoyed watching them, and they've done a really great job. So thanks to you guys for coming and playing the event, and we're going to continue to make our way up to the green. We'll get there.
Slowly but surely. Wow. Josiah even giving that one a little bit, it looks like. Just showing off at this point.
All right, Carson. Closing it out with a good par.
Yeah. Might not have been the round he was hoping for, but
no,
it's good to finish on a solid putt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
We've seen some tough golf. We've seen some good golf. We all know where these players can be on a good day. We also know where everyone can be on a bad day. And you just got to take it for what it is and measure yourself at any given time. And we're doing it here
nice
at
putt
Northwood.
for Gavin as well to finish
Excellent.
the round.
Yeah. Really staved it off. I think he battled on the front 9, took on a handful of strokes, but he really fought and kind of kept big strokes from getting to him.
Definitely, yeah.
On this back 9 too, so
And
good game.
Great shooting from Steven, but I gotta say, Josiah shooting 2 under on the day is ridiculous. 3 over on black long that's such a good round.
It's
coming in
incredible.
at 10-16 rated. Overall for the tournament, played at 10-13 on the day. Just great shooting, Josiah. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Yeah, congratulations to you for taking the win here. Yeah, this has just been it's eye-opening once again to just kind of showcase exactly what kind of course we have here at Northwood, and everybody tackling it pretty well. And we did have some shifting going on. We had William Hobner climb up, and we had Carson Fowler also.
Yeah.
So great round, guys. Thank you guys for coming back, checking out the channel. You know, it's been a while, but things have been happening this year to kind of hold some of this coverage off. But I appreciate you guys for sticking around and checking out the event. You stay tuned for future events too, as we have a Greater Peoria Tour stop number 7, and then Greater Peoria Open for you guys. So, and Ben, also thanks to you for sticking around and doing commentary.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys on the next one.